one of the competitors in the Ring of Honor Pure Championship tournament. You know him as Justin Gabriel or PJ Black. PJ, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Always fun to talk some wrestling.
So, as I just mentioned, you're one of 16 competitors in the tournament. 16 when it started. It's underway right now, but you are going to be one of the two final matches in the first round that are airing this weekend. You're going to be taking on Tony Deppen in the first round. So how are you feeling going into a tournament like this?
I'm super excited. I was always a huge fan of the Pure tournament when it started in the early 2000s. And now I get to compete in it. It's pretty cool. As far as my opponent concerns, like Tony Deppen, I don't know too much about him. I try to Google him and try to search some stuff. Usually I try to find my opponent's move sets, if you will, or try to find out stuff. But I couldn't find anything on him. But I know he has to be pretty good if he's in this tournament. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I've had that come up. I'm familiar with him because of his work with GCW. But he presents an interesting challenge for a lot of the other guys in the tournament. And Russ Taylor is another one of those guys where he might not be too familiar to the Ring of Honor fan base and maybe some of the locker room. But, are you looking at things like, can he upset you? Or are you looking at it like that? Or are you just looking at it as he's one of the other people in your way of getting in the title?
I mean, guys like this that you don't know much about, these are the guys you got to usually look out for, because I don't know anything about him. So, and this guy has something to prove. So he wants to, beat someone in the first round. And obviously he's trying to win the whole tournament. So he definitely is going to come out swinging.
And one of the other interesting aspects of this tournament is you've always been known as a high flyer or an innovator. This is very regimented, grounded in rules, and people, at least I was first familiar with Ring of Honor based on pure rules and the code of honor and all that. So what was the biggest appeal for you going into this tournament? Because it is a difference in styles when at least from a fan perspective when you think of your work, and then how much are you going to change up your work going into a tournament like this where you can't really do some of the stuff that you're used to?
That's a great question. See, not many people know this, but I'm actually an excellent technical wrestler. I lived in Europe. When I finished high school, I actually went to college in London, and so from 2001 to 2006, I lived in London, and I purely wrestled the British style. This was before the hybrid style that everyone does these days, came to fruition. And and I love guys like Jim Breaks, and I've studied all those all-time old guys. I'm actually a really, really good technical wrestler, but I like to mix it up. I like to dab in all kinds of styles. So in South Africa, growing up, we didn't really have a style. Like in Mexico, they have the lucha libre style. In Japan, they have the strong style, and the US has its own kind of style. We didn't really have a style, so what I did was I just took parts of all those styles and I just made up my own hybrid style. So, people think I'm a high flyer, but I'm actually a really good technical wrestler. Now I get to show it in this tournament, so I'm stoked.
So that was going to be my next question. Entering the tournament is, in a way, getting a chance to show people that, if they're stereotyping you as one former wrestler, like it's not that you're learning how to do it. You already know how to do it. It's just,
I learned this before I learned anything else. This is like, I wouldn't say basics because that's like taking away. I'm formed in a lot of combat skills, so yeah, it should be fun, man. Like I really enjoy the rules of this tournament too. You only have 3 rope breaks. I have thousands of moves in my back pocket that I haven't even showed anybody, like locks and submissions and keyholes and stuff. And now I get to whip them out because now it's now I can win some matches with them instead of a high flying move, which should be different for me, but it should be fun.
This was supposed to be a big year for Ring of Honor. It felt like the company was on an upswing with free enterprise, and earlier in the year kind of getting away from the negative publicity that unfortunately happened in 2019. But then COVID happened. It's nobody's fault. It's something that happened, and I know you've missed time before, but it was injury related. You had a very serious injury related to base jumping. And so how did this affect you, where it was out of your control? It wasn't anything you did or didn't do. How did you spend the time off and, get ready for this tournament after being off for, it was like 6 months.
Yeah, I know. It felt like forever. I mean, definitely like a week before I kind of got into the ring, and I was like, wow, it's amazing how quickly you lose it, like all these aches and pains that you forget about come back. If you're constantly working on the road and bumping all the time, like you don't even have time to stop and think or feel, like now I get all these aches and pains the less I wrestle. I'm like, why, what the hell? It's been really hard because I live in LA and the gyms are closed too. So I've been trying to work out here in my apartment, and my friend has a ring at his house, luckily. So been trying to like get some workouts in. I actually just got back from there. We trained at noon today in the valley, and it was just so hot. Like I couldn't handle it, but we got some good reps in. I'll post some of the new stuff that I've been working on later on my Instagram if anyone's interested about that. But yeah, as far as COVID, man, it really sucks because right before it happened, I was actually on a world tour. I was in Dubai, and then we went to Barbados, and I was on a flight to Las Vegas, and then my boss was like, yo, just don't get on the plane, just go home. It really sucks, man. I've been trying to keep myself busy, but it has been good for me because I've been, I run a couple of businesses on the side, and it's given me some time to focus on those things. I read a lot of books. I read all these books during COVID. I actually started writing a book myself. So, but like now that we're kind of going back to normal, I don't know if I'm going to have time to write in the next month or two.
Yeah. It's going to be as normal as it can. One of the things that we have to get used to is not being able to be there in the arenas. So
I know.
We're watching at home, but how's that affect you at the tapings, the challenge of performing with no crowd?
Oh, it's incredibly challenging, because we feed off the energy of the crowd, and now there's none of that. I was actually making fun because Ring of Honor didn't do the empty arena shows in the beginning, and I was making fun of all the other companies. I'm like, oh, this is so lame, because it is kind of, I watch wrestling for the spectacle. I like the fireworks and the music and like, the glitz and the glamour and the energy of the people, and we feed off that. It was extremely hard, and I had to like completely change up my style again. So people think that I just changed it up for the pure tournament, which is maybe partly true, but it's a lot because of an empty arena. You got to like work a little bit differently. I don't want to give you all my tactics, but it's slightly different. It's very, very challenging, dude. Like a lot of guys didn't adapt with it, and you'll see when I'm not sure you can tell when you watch it. Like a lot of people don't adapt; they kind of just do the same thing, and it's like it doesn't really work out.
You've worked just about everywhere. You're working New Japan this month, WWE, Impact Wrestling, Lucha Underground, a little bit of the NWA, and Ring of Honor. So, is there anything you could really compare the atmosphere of the Baltimore tapings that you just did with Ring of Honor to any of those other things? Because my mind kind of jumps to Lucha Underground because of, it's a studio setting, but you still have fans there.
Yeah, the Baltimore thing, we have 0 fans, so it's very different. It's the new set does look incredible. Ring of Honor, we have a completely new set, a new setup. I know you've seen it, right? What do you guys think of it? I think it looks fantastic. It feels good. It looks good. I can't wait till we pack those sets out with some fans. Actually, who knows when that's going to happen? I think some states it's already happening, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. But
unfortunately, a lot of states is not. I live in California. California is not going to happen for at least another year. I think Baltimore isn't going to be for a while. But yeah, let's hope it kind of goes back to normal, man. This is just crazy. This whole thing is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So many small businesses closing. That makes me incredibly sad. Like people work their whole lives to open up this little business, and just the big businesses thrive. But whatever. We're not complaining here. Let's talk some wrestling.
I will say you gotta very quickly. Support your small businesses,
Yes.
can, and yeah, just everybody's got to try to make the best of it. And I think you can have your opinion on whether people should be wrestling, whether they shouldn't. Put that aside. We are seeing wrestling, so let's enjoy it for what it is. At least try to. It's
Exactly.
it's an
It's
escape.
entertainment. Keep your mind off things. It's an escape, like you said. Like it's such a crazy time, and we need that. We I don't know where you are, but like where we are, the movies aren't even open. That's like one of my favorite things to do. Like, and we can't even do that. The gyms are closed. I'm like, what? Like at least people can watch Netflix and some wrestling online. But we all want to just go back to normal.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't even know what normal is because I'm at baseball games in the summer. I'm in like
Yeah.
Philadelphia area, and I can't even tell you the last time I've been downtown. Like, I work from home. My kids go to school at home now, and it's just try to make the best of it. And when this all happened, I originally was like, okay, maybe having a break from wrestling would be good. And it sort of happened around WrestleMania week, but then after that, it kept going, and I was like, well, at least now I have a new appreciation. Like I'm finding new ways to watch it, and one of the things is spoilers aren't getting out.
Yeah.
And
That's a great bonus.
appreciate that.
Me too. Me too. That's fantastic. Now, good. And even us in the tournament, like we don't even know what's happening and the other matches and stuff like that, which is great because now we have these watch parties online. I encourage everyone to watch it with us because the whole roster is watching the show and tweeting about it, and it's great. It's like me watching it for the first time, like a fan, and I love that.
And that's you guys watch with the fight feed, right? Mondays at 7.
Correct. Yes.
So one of the things I wanted to ask about is you've always, at least in recent years, have been open about, wanting to pitch creative ideas. The Darewolf character. I know you told Chris Jericho about the Rosebud Bunny. So I do want to get to that, but my first question is, not only are you, I guess, handcuffed creatively with the Pure tournament, but how different is that? Having all of these ideas, wanting to create your own character, and then this is the first thing that you're coming back to. Like,
Well,
is that also another hurdle to overcome?
it is a little hurdle, but it's actually an exciting one because I've been working on a new character for the longest time. I was gonna pull the trigger on it at the beginning of this year, and I'm slowly like incorporating some of the stuff. If you watch my matches weekend, you'll hear my brand new music done by my really good friend, my Nexus brother, Tyrone, Michael Tarver, as most people remember him as. And it came out really freaking cool. I'm stoked about it. All the gear, all the props, everything is ready to go. I'm busy filming the vignette still. And, that's coming back to the creative freedom. Like, not many people in the past that has given me that. And now that they've given me that, like, I've created something completely different and unique that I'm super proud of. So I can't wait to show fans.
Did he put that up on his YouTube already? I think I heard it.
The song, yeah, it's out all. I'll put it on my Instagram this weekend after the match airs. But it debuted in New Japan already and a few other places. It's on Spotify. It's on all the streaming sites. It's on Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes. It's on all of them.
Yeah, I think I saw the YouTube video, and I this was also around the time when Stu was starting to do, like, they did the 20th anniversary or the 10th anniversary of Nexus. And
Yes.
there was all the talk about, why he wasn't involved or whatever. And then who else was it? I think it was Darren Young and somebody else, but they did an interview, and somehow I came across the track and he was previewing it. I was like, oh, cool. Like, it's good to see you guys staying in touch after all these years, because it's not a direct connection to wrestling. He's, providing content, music, but still staying in touch.
We all do. Like, all the Nexus guys, we're still pretty close. We still have a group text. We text and and I love Tarver. He's amazing. He's a great musician. He has many albums. He's a Christian rapper, actually. I don't know if many people know that, but so I came to him with an idea, and I was like, these are the words I kind of want you to use, and he wrote that music. It was brilliant, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't remember his channel, but I'll get back to it if I find it. What I wanted to ask about the bunny is, you had said first, I think the fact that you were the Rosebud Bunny in itself was a great mystery, because there was Zack Ryder, people said was the bunny, Sami Zayn was the bunny, and then
Well, I'm sure both of them were once or twice.
but then you like revealed like your plan for it, and I just thought the Darewolf explanation that you gave, and then the bunny, like it took on a Donnie Darko thing. Like,
Yeah.
is that something you still want to explore, or is that?
I would love to. I'm actually trying to get in contact with Adam Rose and do something similar, but way more not PG. Like that character would have worked if it wasn't the PG era. If that was the Attitude Era, can you imagine a Donnie Darko bunny? That would have been insane. And and unfortunately, uh, the era, the timing wasn't right for all this stuff. And that was just one thing. It was a Daryl character, the bunny thing, and I pitched so many different things that just went nowhere. And that was one of the main reasons I left, because I just, I don't even know what the word is. I felt useless. I felt like my ideas wasn't any good. And years later, everyone's like, "Wow, those are actually amazing ideas." So I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna come up with some more ideas, because I have tons of ideas. I just need people to believe in me so I can pull the trigger on these."
Ring of Honor's traditionally been a quote unquote wrestling first company, and it's been character second to an extent, but we've seen like PCO is a prime example of presenting a really unique character in the last year. So I mean, is that motivating for you to maybe be more vocal about sharing your ideas with Ring of Honor, or is it like another challenge to try to find the balance as far as changing the culture of Ring of Honor in a way where it's not just a company that's the best wrestling company in the world, it's also storyline driven and character driven?
Well, yes. So I think that wrestling has evolved to this point. Everyone loves the wrestling part of it, but there's a lot of people who love the show part of it. So I feel like in the modern age, we have to combine all those aspects to be a success. There's a lot of guys in Ring of Honor who just focus on the wrestling, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that Ring of Honor, like you say, is known for that. But I feel like if you sprinkle in some character stuff and some fun promos and vignettes, I think it's fun for everybody. It attract different fans. Just look at like a guy like Josh Woods. I mean, everybody knows that guy can wrestle. Like he's from MMA, right? So he can go. I actually tried to wrestle with him once, and he just out wrestled me in like 10 seconds. But anyway, look at him. Like his character stuff, his personality is super fun, and that's him. That's the real him. He's not playing anybody. That's him, and he's a badass in the ring too. So I feel like there's a good mix of characters in Ring of Honor, and I think there's a home for characters and for it definitely makes for some interesting storytelling.
I actually talked to Josh not too long ago, also promoting the tournament, but it's definitely notable that the similarities between, he kind of gets pigeonholed as just a wrestler, but he's also very charismatic. He's funny. And I got that from just talking to him in a few minutes. So
go watch his promos. His stuff with Silas, man, I can't get enough of it. I watch it over and over. That's so good.
I remember when Silas first, we talked to him like last year, and he said, I went to the office and I said, I want to work with Josh Woods. I see something in him. And you can see not only Silas's influence, but you can also see maybe Josh getting a little more comfortable and being that way himself. And not to say that you're looking past Tony Deppen, but if you win your match, you're going to be facing Josh Woods. So is there is that an interesting challenge too? Because
oh yes,
you're also you're very similar in the way you just explained it, where your in-ring work speaks for itself, his wrestling speaks for itself, but you guys are also very, you can be charismatic in that way that maybe people aren't expecting.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I'm a huge fan of Josh, man. I love watching him wrestle. I love watching all these funny backstage segments because it's so funny. Because if you see a guy like that on the street, you'd be like, "Oh, I can kick that guy's ass," and he can probably kick most people's asses. Um, yeah, I'm very excited about this match. If he beats me, he's my pick to win the tournament. But yeah, he's gonna have to go through me first. I'm excited to wrestle him. I've always wanted to wrestle him. We touched a little bit in some tag matches and some multi-man matches, but this will be the if I do win. It should be an interesting match.
Yeah, I think there's so many takeaways from this tournament, but one of the biggest ones is there's so many first time matches and so many interesting stylistic matchups. Like you have Jay Lethal and Dalton Castle matched up. They've been like, you could call them the faces of Ring of Honor the past few years.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have like Finley and Rocky Romero is like the New Japan element, and then Delirious and Matt Sydal, like they have their own feud. There's so many like things you can pick from each match in this bracket. And I think that's the most interesting thing about this. Not only are you getting like fresh matchups, especially, I mean, I would argue the past 2 or 3 years, wrestling kind of got not stale, but you kind of started to see the same matches over and over.
Oh yeah,
it feels new again.
yes, especially on TV on the bigger companies, because you see the same matches over and over. I feel like my favorite thing about wrestling is first time matches. Watching them and doing them. Personally, I love it, because you really don't know what to expect. You really don't know what the timings and the movements are going to be like. And that, for me, is one of the coolest things in wrestling, man. Every time I've wrestled someone for the first time, that was one of my favorite matches. Like, always.
If people haven't been following your Ring of Honor career and they're maybe more familiar with WWE or Lucha Underground, is there a match that you would point to maybe to show them and be like, here's what I've been up to since? Or
yes, so many. Literally every single one of them. First of all, but like if I have to pick, I have to pick 3. So during quarantine, obviously, Ring of Honor, we still have a TV show that we have to produce, but we weren't doing shows, right? So we were doing these little packages. I don't know if you've been following the product, but like we did like they did like features on everyone, and they did a whole episode on me, and I picked 3 of my favorite matches. And that was really tough to pick those 3 because I loved all my matches. But any match with guys like Bandito, Dragon Lee, Flip Gordon, you know that's going to be good and fun. I think my match against Bandito in Las Vegas, that was a really fun one. Like if anyone wants to know what I'm doing these days, go check that match out.
Silas Young and I think the Bandito. Yeah, the
Bandito match, yep. And then a 4-way or a 3-way, I think.
The anniversary. I can't remember what show it was.
Yes.
The other one was you, Triton, and Flip Gordon from Global Wars.
Correct.
So yeah, there's definitely those 3. If you want to check out, you can go watch the whole episode on. If you're watching this, go check out Ring of Honor's archives, and there you go.
Yeah, or it's on Fight TV too. You guys can check that out. There's some really good stuff on Fight TV too. Yeah, if you haven't watched Ring of Honor in a long time, I encourage you to watch some of the new stuff, man. This company is going to do some cool things. It's a shame about this Corona stuff this year, but I feel like that was one of the main deciding factors of, because I had multiple choices of where to go, but I chose Ring of Honor for a reason, because I believe that this company is going to do some really good things, and I want to be a part of that.
You've done so much in your career. We've mentioned some of them on this call. You've won championships, performed around the world. You have memorable moments, like all-time great moment, the Nexus debut. Besides winning the Pure title, is there another bucket list item that you have at this point in your career?
I actually do. So I have a massive bucket list, and I've achieved every single thing on my bucket list except for one thing. And I'm not going to tell you guys what it is right now, because when it happens, you'll know. But it was going to happen this year, but obviously COVID. So I'm hoping early next year or next year, hopefully, to do that. But yeah, it's been a long bucket list, and the last 5 or 6 of those things I just crossed crossed off recently. So I'm really excited to cross off that last one.
Fair enough. We'll wait and find out what it is. But
Yes, you'll know. You'll know. When you see it, you'll know.
in the meantime, we can look forward to your match this weekend. It's PJ Black against Tony Deppen, and the other match is Tracy Williams against Russ Taylor. It'll air this weekend on Ring of Honor TV and the following Monday on Fight TV at 7 p.m. October 5th. So you can check out that match and wait and see if PJ moves on to the next round. But PJ, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was good fun. Let's do another one after I win this competition.
Fair enough, man. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thank you.